most of my net worth is in Bitcoin. Now, most of you probably see that and you're thinking, the hell is this guy talking about? Some of you Bitcoiners out there are probably thinking, yeah, this guy's on point with it, because most of my net worth is in Bitcoin too. So, how did I get here? Why am I doing it? And all that other good stuff. Let's talk about it. So, I first discovered Bitcoin around 2021, late 2021. I was really pretty much when I started investing. I started investing pretty much everything you could think of. The S&P 500. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, like I said, the S&P 500. The some stocks, index funds, all that good stuff. And individual stocks. And then I stumbled upon cryptocurrency. And back then, I was investing in a lot of different cryptocurrencies, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I was doing it on Coinbase. Everybody starts on Coinbase, right? So, yeah, I just put in a couple dollars here and there on Coinbase, and I just playing around with it. The hype coin at the time was Shiba Inu too. I had a little bit of Shiba Inu. I don't have any of that no more. I let that shit go a long time ago. But the one I always have stuck with is Bitcoin. So I remember late 21, like I was talking about, it peaked at about 68,000. And then it came back down to, it was looking at 30,000. It kind of hung out there for a while till eventually it dropped to like 25 and 20,000. Before you know it, in late 22, it bottomed at 15,000. And you see an 85% drop like that, your first reaction is like, oh shit, I gotta get all my money out of here. But I kind of had noticed that Bitcoin has those kind of cycles. So I was like, okay, instead of panic selling, what if I just continue to average down? Because if I was willing to buy it at 60,000, why would I not buy it 80% off? I'm getting 4 or 5 times the Bitcoin now that I was purchasing just a few months ago. So I kept buying, and it kept going down, and I kept buying, and it kept going down, and it was a painful dip. Now, unfortunately, in 2023, I'd actually lost my job, so I had to kind of live off my assets for a little bit. So that kind of made me have to sell the Bitcoin just to live for a little bit. But in that time, of course, after I sold it, I watched it go from 15,000 to 30,000, and then 50, and then 70,000, and then after the election, and all that, it got up to 120,000. So I'm sitting here looking at this Bitcoin I got for 15,000. I let it go for like 30,000. It goes to 120. So I let it go for like break even damn near, and it went ahead and 8x'd from the bottom. So, but all that's just to say that's where I started with Bitcoin, right? The reason now, after having watched the way it behaves and why I'm staying with it, is it's truly the best asset on the planet. It's completely decentralized. No bank, no government, no politician can control it or take it from you or tell you how to spend it or tell you what you can't spend it on. You can send it to anyone, anywhere, anytime, holidays, weekends. It's completely neutral. It doesn't care what day of the week it is. It doesn't care what day of the year it is. It doesn't care what day of the decade it is. What hour, what minute, anytime. Bitcoin network has never gone down. It is the strongest computer network in the world. I believe it's stronger than the U.S. Navy and Army. It's by far the largest computer network. Not even close. It's something like 1 exahash of power now, somewhere around there. Somebody can fact check me. That kind of gets into what some of the criticisms people have about Bitcoin is about the energy usage. And I'm gonna be honest, bro. I mean, if we're really talking about energy usage, we gotta get into AI. I mean, AI is burning more energy than anything Bitcoin has ever done. I don't see anybody talking about that, for one. So let's get our priorities straightened first. And then the main thing you're hearing right now as far as FUD goes is quantum computing, quantum this, quantum that. And to be honest with you, I'm already sick of hearing it, because the thing with the quantum computing argument is that, yeah, I'll admit it's a real threat, right? I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. There's a very distinct possibility it could happen in the next 10, 15 years, maybe even 5 years if things go faster than I expect. I don't know. But one, Bitcoin's got some of the smartest developers on the planet working for it 24/7, and they're already devising plans to make it quantum proof, right? So that's reason number one why I'm still in Bitcoin, even with that FUD. And number two, if quantum computing is that much of a threat for Bitcoin, you don't think it's a threat for every other thing like that has encryption? If it can crack Bitcoin's code, like I told you, with the strongest computer network, you think it can't crack your bank account? It can't crack your social security number? It can't crack your identity? Like let's go down the list. I mean, quantum computing is a threat to everything, not just Bitcoin. If you think it's powerful enough to crack Bitcoin, but it's just going to leave everything else alone, I think you're a little foolish. So, I'm getting a little tired of this argument. And if you think about it for more than 10 seconds, you kind of see why it's not the greatest argument I've ever heard. Because if you're basing your decisions on quantum destroying Bitcoin, you might as well get out of everything, because quantum's going to destroy everything at that point. If you really think it's coming that fast, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. But all of this to also say, Bitcoin is the best performing asset of the last decade. If you go look at any price chart of what it's done over the last 10 years, it's up like 100% compounded over the last 10, 15 years or so. Now, I don't expect those returns, for the next 10, 15 years, because, it started at like a penny, and now it's, bordering on 100,000. It can easily go back to 120, no problem. And it does 50% returns a year, no problem. And I expect that the average it will do for the next 10 years is probably, my conservative guess would be 22% per year, which would still, far far succeed the S&P 500 or any stock, damn near. Like the only stock that's actually managed to beat it over the last 5 years is Nvidia, which that was a 1 in a million digital intelligence play. Like, you just had to be there to be there. Which I had Nvidia too. Don't get me wrong. I have more conviction in Bitcoin though. I just think it's the better asset. It's the best asset on the planet. It's only going to go up forever. It's going to be volatile. It's going to swing, but it's going to perform well. Volatility is the price you pay for outperformance. If you want to make a lot of money, you're going to have to pay some pain for it. You're going to have to watch your portfolio go down 30, 40, 50, 60% sometimes, just to turn around and watch it go back up 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% sometimes. Now, I know people will fire back at me with the old Warren Buffett quote but he always said to never lose money is the best way to make money, which, in a way, sure, but see, this is where this is open to interpretation, right? Because in my mind, Bitcoin is money. So just because it goes down in dollar value doesn't mean I've actually lost any money. Not the way I think about it. As I have started to base the price of things in Satoshis now. A Satoshi, by the way, is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. Sorry. So now I'm at the point where I price things in Satoshis, right? So if I see a house is 100 million Satoshis, which is one Bitcoin, right? So let's say it's 300 million Satoshis, right? Over time, I'll see it go down to 100 million Satoshis, one Bitcoin. Then I'll see it go down to 50 million, half a Bitcoin. And then down to 10 million and 5 million. So, it could go back up. It costs more Satoshis over, short periods of time. But the long-term trend is very, very clear. The long-term trend is Bitcoin goes up forever. And I don't think it's going to stop. Now, maybe that sounds like a bubble to you. Who knows? Maybe it is, but it's where my conviction is. If you can stomach the volatility and sleep well at night, I'll add that. Then Bitcoin might be the best asset for you because it is the best asset on the planet. Now, maybe if you want to wait till it matures, because it's still volatile, still pretty new asset class. It's only been around for 15-ish years. It's really only seen mainstream appeal for hardly even for about like 4 or 5 years now. Really, it's still not even all that mainstream. It's just kind of a little more popular now. Give it about 10, 15 years, it'll be another mature asset class. And that's baked into my base case price, right? That's why I think 22% is my base case. And then if I had to go super bullish on it, I could see it doing like 40% per year, which would be an insane return over the next 10, 15 years. That would be nuts. We're talking like a $10 million Bitcoin by 2040, which that sounds crazy now when it's sitting at 70K, but I don't know. Let's see how well this video ages. Let's come back in, say, 10 years. Remind me in 2036 or 2041 even, and let's see if Bitcoin ever hit 10 million. I believe, but I could very well be wrong. I probably will be. Probably won't be quite that. Maybe it could be way above that. We'll see. I hope to come back to this video and be proven right, but we'll see. It is the best asset. It will be higher in 15 years from now than it is today. That I'm damn near certain of. As long as nothing actually happens to the network with quantum computing and all that, but as long as the world don't end, basically, because that's going to be the end of the world, is what I'm getting at. Alright, I'm done rambling. Just get started investing. I mean, there's your financial advice. Just get started investing in something, because you can't just watch your money just disappear to inflation every single year. It's just not the way to do it, guys. We gotta break that cycle. The only way to build generational wealth is to build wealth over a generation. And just hold tight, because it's scary, it's volatile, but it's also kind of fun. Alright. Later, guys.
Wonderful. The nightmare on fields has followed us even here. Away from me.